That's it lessons for today. We have the subject question. First of all, we start with the universal structure for making a question. We need, the WH element, the auxiliary, the subject, the verb plus the complement as an example. Why did you arrive late? This is a normal question, but when it is the main class subject that is focus of the question, things are no longer so clear. Here we have the word order is consistent with at least three analyses, as we can see here. In the first one, the complement phrase is inside it. We have the modal and the verb say. The ergative verb modifies both. And then we have the inflectional phrase. In the second example, we have the complement phrase. Inside it, we have WH elements, the ergative verb which affect the modal can, and the rest is the inflectional phrase. And the third one, we have the complement phrase. Inside it, we have the WH elements and the modal can, and the ergative verb affect the verb say. So next, we have the relative clause. It's another construction in English which looks like an embedded interrogative clause, but it's very different in interpretation. This clause acts as modifier of the noun inside the determinate phrase. Here we have two examples. I asked who you met. The man who you met. Such noun modified clauses are called relative clauses. The position of the relative clause inside the noun phrase. The relative clauses seems to modify nouns as we saw in the previous example, so we can assume that they occupy a position within the phrase headed by the noun. In the first example, it says the mistake that I made was much bigger than that one. So the noun phrase is the mistake that I made. But just what we have in parentheses is the relative clause, mistake that I made. So in the second example, it says my favorite places. I like to go and people I like to visit. In this example, it's much more different than the previous one. The LP favorite modifies both places I like to go and people I like to visit. Because these two examples are different, we can say there are more than one type of relative clauses, as we have here. Restricted. Limited or identifies such nouns as cannot be removed from a sentence without changing the sentence meaning. Example, the astronaut who first stepped on the moon was named Armstrong. So in that case, we don't need commas. Why? Because we are describing the noun. And the second one is noun restricted, describes a noun in a non-essential way. Carla, who just graduated from high school, is an accomplished figure skater. So we use the comma. Why? Because the information that we have between the commas is not necessary at all. So if we take it out, no problem, we will understand the sentence. Thank you.
Now we are going to see a comparison between relative and interrogative clauses. For this we have restricted relatives, WH relatives, that relatives, and zero relatives.
WH relatives are used in finite and not finite clauses. In prepositional phrase, they have two kinds of movements: move along prepositional strated, or with the whole expression pipe piping. They were as a modifier of the noun and need human references, as a man what I know. They were as an object and the verb in the relative clause, or as a subject in the relative clause. The position of the relative pronoun in the relative clause depends on nouns, as we have seen here in the examples. In that relatives, we have that they are only used in finite clauses, and zero relatives, they don't have a visual WH element, but they move to the specifier of the complement phrase as a null operator. Differences. WH element use a null operator. WH elements as an operator in interrogative and relative clauses is the function that they have. They were as a quantificational or as an aphoric, and the different functions of these ones is that one is for question and the other for relative clauses. Other front-end movements that we have topicalization. They are the front-end elements that are followed by a pause. These ones are the beginning of the sentence and are called topics. As we have seen here, three examples. The first one we have preposition, the next one we have noun phrase, and the last one we have verb phrase. Why we can use this? Because they belong to expressions like These ones that are subject double elements, object double elements, and adjective double elements, and they are compatible status. That's why if I took one of these and replace in the other one, it can work as a topic. They not move to the specifier of the complement phrase, and they work as an adjoint as a recursion structure. They go to the left, as we can see here. In the given context, they are not preceded to the complement phrase. They follow the specifier and the head complementizer. Work as an adjoint to the complement phrase or as an adjoint to the inflectional phrase. Here in the first example, this town goes next to the complement phrase, and this one we have in this town goes next one to the inflectional phrase. The conditional clauses are not restricted to preceding position. They can go at the beginning or they can go at the end. And the position whereas the topic are moved to this position from various places within the inflectional phrase. It means that they can work and move in the inflectional phrase wherever they want.
We talk about focus fronting. Fronting refers to the movement of the element to start a sentence and to give it the prominence. Focus fronting used by writers for dramatic effects. It means to emphasize some elements of the sentence, especially the shorter forms with adjectives and clauses contain question words. In this case, I have two sentences, but we analyze the first. The rain came down. The is a determiner, rain is the subject, come down is a phrasal verb. Phrasal verb is contain a verb plus particle. The second sentence, came down the rain. But you notice these sentences are similar? Yes, they are similar. Both sentences has the same element and both sentences have the same meaning. So, you notice that? Move the element. The first part of the sentence, the rain, move. The second sentence has the same element, but the position of the rain changed. And came down is a phrasal verb, but in the first sentence, came down is the last part. In the second sentence, came down starts the sentence. You notice more. This is for emphasize, but the meaning is the same. Other situation is double-edged questions. Double-edged questions. The common sentence is, the days when he has nothing to do are gone. And the fronting, gone are the days when we had nothing to do. Both sentences have the same element and the same meaning. Only the difference is the position of the element. Other situation is double-edged element. The common sentence is, I say the man I wouldn't trust. And the fronting is, I wouldn't trust, I say the man. But the fronting sentence is okay. No, not exist. Focus fronting is one kind of fronting, but exists other, a negative sentence, a negative fronting. Negative fronting is non-standard English, follow the pattern of the transferring negative auxiliary as initial of the sentence with an indefinitely known phrases as a subject. Its mean. The common sentence, everybody can win. Everybody, subject. Can't is a auxiliary negative. And win is a verb. The fronting is, can't everybody win. Both sentences has the same element, has the same meaning. But you notice, the fronting starts the sentence with can, is we emphasize, no more. Other situation is the double-edged movement. The common sentence is, I say that never in my life have I been so embarrassed. The fronting starts to, never in my life have I been so embarrassed. After negative are adverbials such as never, no ever, not for 1 minute, no signs, no until, never again, and rarely. invert the auxiliary verbs and the subject. In this case, the first common sentence, I omit this part, I say that, I omit, and I start the fronting sentence with never in my life have I been so embarrassed. You notice, never in my life have I been so embarrassed. Both sentences have the same element. Well, in this case, not have the same element. Both sentences have the same meaning. Other situation is double-edged element. The common sentence is he will talk to no one. The fronting is no one will he talk to. Again, both sentences have the same element, has the same meaning. But first we analyze that. No one is a determinate phrase, and will is a complement. He talked to is an interrogative phrase. Complement and plus interrogative phrases is a complement, and determinate phrases plus complement is a sentence.